What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name is Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, in the wake of San Diego Comic-Con 2022 and just weeks away from D23, the Marvel Studios casting announcement rumors have not slowed down at all as they pertain to the Fantastic Four. And just weeks ago, Giancarlo Esposito, live on stage at a con, publicly campaigning to join the MCU and the X-Men as Professor X. But there's one rumor in particular, one we covered under a week ago, that went from Henry Cavill joining the MCU in a mystery role to where it is now Henry Cavill joining the MCU in Loki Season 2 as Hyperion. We're going to talk about exactly which industry insiders said this, what they said, and of course why the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in the middle of the multiverse saga, the way things stand right now, have left the landscape prime for Hyperion to show up. We're breaking it all down, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel, and that's all we do. Everything from official Easter egg breakdowns, trailers, and reviews to the occasional industry insider report and everything in between. So if that sort of thing's for you, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. That will automatically enter you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway. If you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Now, if you guys are anything like me, you're probably a little annoyed recently, and especially on social media, when you see all of this stuff reported as headlines, but then they don't cite their sources, or when they do cite their sources, they do so incorrectly. Quite honestly, it reminds me of the days of Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, when a lot of people were just making stuff up and saying industry insiders quote-unquote said it, but weren't citing anything. So, outside of any reports or rumors that Henry Cavill is joining the MCU, because they've been going on for years, let's talk about where this all started. The current one that's going on about him playing Hyperion, that started over on Giant Freaking Robot. 3 weeks ago on August 1st, they published under the headline exclusive, Henry Cavill in advanced talks to join the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where they went on to say, quote, according to our proven and trusted sources, Henry Cavill is the latest actor being wooed to join the Marvel Cinematic Universe. While we do not yet have confirmation of what role Henry Cavill is in talks to play over at Marvel, we have solid speculation it's the head of the First Family, Reed Richards. Then fast forward 2 weeks later, and over the last 7 days, a completely different industry insider source in the Twitter scoopster, CineStealth, that's at CineStealth on Twitter, started with the tweet that a huge actor might have been cast as a villain to debut in Loki Season 2 and added that it wasn't a Kang variant. And over the following days went on to clarify he was implying it was Henry Cavill as Hyperion and the leader of the Squadron Supreme. So this is two industry insiders in the same month talking about Henry Cavill. That's how this all came together. Now, in his most recent tweet, he went on to say this about that role. From what he gathers, quote, Loki Season 2 will introduce Squadron Supreme as the boys-style riff on the Justice League from another timeline. Arrogant, evil analogs of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, etc. But by the end, they end up working with Kang as his muscle in Kang Dynasty. Now, outside of the synchronicity of two separate industry insider sources linking Cavill to the MCU and CineStealth in the latter straight out saying which role he was linked for, you have to consider this still in rumor territory, because I remember back in 2019 when Henry Cavill was rumored to be playing Wolverine in Captain Marvel 2. So keep that part of the story in your brain as a grain of salt, especially as we wait to hear these upcoming casting announcements in the coming weeks at D23. But what I will say is that his last tweet fits the MCU and the original comic book origin perfectly. Hyperion is actually an Eternal, so like Icarus, an analog to Superman, and that's where all the jokes and memes come from about the fact that Henry Cavill, who was DCEU's Superman and still may be, question mark, would come over to the MCU and essentially play the same character who can fly, is super strong, and has atomic vision. Hyperion's whole storyline is surviving the incursion of Earth 13034, so it's like take everything we saw in Eternals and Multiverse of Madness, where the incursioned Earth's Doctor Strange was the sole survivor. We understand his plight exactly. We've seen two characters in Icarus and that counterpart Doctor Strange that explain where and how Hyperion comes from. Now, eventually, he's in the 616 with the Squadron Supreme, and that would sort of explain why Cavill would even want to do a role like this anyway. It's not a one-off Loki Season 2 villain. In fact, it would end up being a villain and muscle that carries over throughout the rest of the multiverse saga, eventually to Kang Dynasty, and in that, you can see the longevity that might appeal to Henry Cavill. But I will say, and for the record, because I get to have an opinion, I'm having a real hard time seeing this one. Don't get me wrong, I love Henry Cavill. I think the DCEU would be really stupid not to keep using him as Superman. He absolutely kills The Witcher. He was awesome in Mission Impossible. He's a great actor. I am all for it. I definitely want him in the MCU. But you got to think from his standpoint, just playing an analog character when you've already played Superman, I don't know. If the script is right and the situation is right and they are going to write him throughout the entirety of the multiverse saga, maybe I can see the appeal. And for a guy who normally plays the hero, getting to play the jerk villain, getting to play the Homelander version of a character that he already feels somewhat comfortable with the power set, maybe that's an interesting prospect to him. And of course, money talks. But what I will mention in a very important detail is that he has been rigorously filming on Witcher Season 3, and that would seem to coincide and interfere with a lot of the filming on Loki Season 2. So just that fact alone, I'm having a hard time believing this, but he may have joined the MCU, and for a future role, it may be Hyperion in Loki Season 2. He may be in Loki Season 2, but not playing Hyperion. There are so many of the factors that, these industry insiders tend to get a lot of this right, but it's always like one or two details that may be off. All I'm saying is stay skeptical on this one, as well as the rest of the casting rumors. And as much as I want to see Henry Cavill join the MCU, I think he is a fantastic actor. I just am having a hard time seeing him want to play the exact same superhero role that he did in the DCEU. Maybe you guys disagree with me. As always, I am all ears. And let me know, how would you feel about him playing Hyperion? Or if you don't see it but want him in the MCU like I do, who do you have him playing? I definitely don't think he's Wolverine, but I've been wrong about that before. I'm sure he could actually play whoever he wanted. You guys let me know down in the comments quickly. Let's jump into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. We are still giving away PlayStation 5s every 20,000 subscribers all the way up to 1 million. The next milestone is 980, which we should easily hit by month's end or next. If you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below, because it's truly random. The more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced here at the end of videos, the same way we're doing in this segment, so don't fall for any WhatsApp spammers or any of the scammers that have been across the YouTube platform for the last month or so. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on. And as always, if you liked today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at I'mFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, under the name AllFires. And while I sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. I really appreciate that, and I will see you guys in the next one.